So in the last video, we reviewed a lot of topics, and by now you should have a good understanding of the 3D viewport and the outliner and overall what's happening in the 3D scene. However, there are minor things here and there that I still want to review. To talk about those things, I have created a little plane that is up here out of the way. And this is just for you to follow along. You don't have to recreate this. Now, this is just a simple plane that I have created. Then I opened it in edit mode, subdivided, and then I split the faces so that they are detached from each other. They are independent. And I've done so because we are going to cover a few tools that you need to become familiar with. To begin with, I'm gonna introduce you to the shortcut N. Now N, when you're in the viewport, opens up this side panel, and this side panel contains all the plugins that you have activated, plus a few important properties and extra options. One of them at the top is the item tab. Now the item tab provides you with information about the object that you have selected. So this, for example, right now it's telling me that this plane is at 1002.6 centimeter on the Z axis. So if I wanted to change that, I could go in and change that manually, and that will move slightly the plane. So not only it tells you information, but you can actually affect it. You can actually input precise measurements here and change things. So for example, if I wanted to rotate this by 45 degrees, I can do so. And the same goes, of course, for the scale. The next tab is Tool. Now, Tool provides you information about the tool that you have selected. Now, if you press T as in Tool, you will see that you can toggle between the panel on the left, which is all about the tools that you have selected. So right now, the active tool is the selection box, which allows you, of course, to select objects, but also allows you to click with the left click and drag a box to select multiple objects. If you click to the one below, you're now using the cursor tool, which with the left click allows you to move the 3D cursor that we reviewed in the previous video. And basically this is changing the behavior of the left click, because usually when this tool is not selected, if you want to move the 3D cursor, you have to press Shift and right click. Moving on is the Move tool, right? So when you have the Move tool selected and you select an object, not only you will select the object, but the gizmo will appear to actually move, and you can drag this and move it however you want it. And as you can guess, this is also reflected as a change in this editor over here. Next is the rotation, which provides you with the gizmo to rotate things. This one is for the scale. And this one provides you access to all of them at the same time, okay? Now, the next few are to do annotation, measurements, and to have access to basic shapes, but we don't need to review those at the moment. And frankly, you won't necessarily use them a lot. Now I'm going to use the panel that we have activated with N to sort of undo the changes on the plane. And one thing that not everybody knows is that if you left click on a box like this one, and then you drag your mouse down and then you let it go, you can edit multiple parameters in one go. So everything now is set to 1. Okay, now that you are familiar with the shortcuts T and N, I guess we can move on and talk about the global orientation. So far we have used a transform orientation that is global, which means that whenever you select an object and you see this gizmo, the gizmo is aligned to the world axis, which are the axes that you can see down here, but you can also see over here in the gizmo. Now, you can change this to a series of alternatives, and the one I would like you to review right now is local. So local means that we are now switching to an orientation that is specific to this object. So if I rotate this object on the z-axis like this, you will see that now the arrows are no longer aligned with the world. And if I move it along the y-axis, it's now moving along its own local y-axis. And you can always go back to the global and move it along the global y-axis, and then go back to the other one, and it still retains this information. All of this exists in parallel, and it is used mostly when you start doing some more sophisticated 3D modeling and you need to control the geometry in a specific way. And this gives you the opportunity to do all the transformations that you need to do using different axes. Okay, moving forward, I'm gonna enter edit mode. And the first thing you should notice is that this tool list has now expanded. And this is because now you have access to several other tools that are specific to editing a geometry, specific to editing faces, edges, and vertices. However, right now I want you to focus on the pivot so we can review the remaining options that we have over here. In previous videos, we have touched upon the active element and the default one, which is the medium point, which simply means that when you select something, and I'm going to use the global transform orientation right here. If I am selecting something like multiple selections with the median point, the pivot point, or the handle from which things are manipulated is based on the median of the selections that I have now active. The active element moves the selection to the only active element, which is the last one that you have selected. And as you can see, the gizmo has moved. And then there are a few others like individual origins. Now, because I have separated each of these faces, if I now press R and have them rotate, you can see clearly that they are rotating around their own individual points. With the 3D cursor, as you can guess, things are gonna move depending on where the 3D cursor is at that given time. And lastly, the bounding box in this case is gonna behave a little bit like the median point because we only have 4 faces selected. But basically what's happening is that we have a bounding box of all the stuff that has been selected, and then we are gonna use the center of that bounding box to move things around. Okay, so all those little options are not the most interesting thing in the world, but I believe that at some point you have to learn about them, so you might as well get them out of the way now. And I hope you're not running out of steam, because in the next video we are finally gonna take our first render.